What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of The Reality of YouTube and Podcasting. Today's episode is about community, what it's like building a community within this space. And man, you guys are in for a treat today because I have a very special guest, someone that I actually had an opportunity to work with on one of my last films. This dude is a phenomenon. Like, he's literally created so much cool content on YouTube. He's a pioneer of Pensacola himself. I want to welcome you guys to Holden Hardman. How are you doing today, Holden?
Hey, how's it going, man? I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Anytime, man. Anytime, man. I am personally thankful to have you on, man. When I was drafting this series, I was like, you know what? I haven't worked with Holden in a minute. It's almost been like 2 years. And I'm like, I definitely want to do it. I definitely want to work with you. So, I've noticed, because I don't live in Pensacola anymore. I moved to Orlando, but I've noticed that, like I said it before, you've been a pioneer of Pensacola, and I just want to know, how did you get, started? Before we get into the meat of the episode, how did you get started in this YouTube thing, and how did you just build yourself up to where you are now?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've been doing videos for as long as I could remember, like being a kid and making videos with like other kids in the neighborhood and stuff. And then it was 3 years ago that I made a personal commitment to do at least one video per week, no matter what period. And I've stuck with that pretty faithfully, at least one. Mm-hmm. So I'll sometimes do 2, maybe 3 a week, but minimal 1. And so whenever anybody talks about how to grow on YouTube and how to build your audience, it always comes back to consistency. It's just consistently putting out content. And so it took about 2 years before I saw any meaningful growth, and then this past year has been the most growth for my channel that I've ever had. And I'm hoping to keep the momentum up and be able to keep growing from that.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I've actually learned a lot from just watching you being consistent. You spoke on being consistent, like putting out a video a week, and I've noticed anyone who's ever followed Holden, like, he puts out not your typical video. Like, he puts out videos about watching the Dark Knight franchise with his friend. There's this one, he did a Parasite video, which I think is hilarious, in my opinion, really funny, of him and his friend watching Parasite. And it's really cool how he's doing his own original content for his channel. And the cool thing about Holden's channel is that he's learned how to build a community within his own city, but also just within his own channel. And how for the people who are just starting out, how did you get to the point of just learning your fan base, but also building that community?
Yeah. My biggest thing is it was hard for me to really niche down into a particular thing, because there's so much stuff that I want to be able to do. I want to be able to do a video watching a movie with a friend, or I want to do a video about this or that. And so it was always kind of a double-edged sword for me. Because yes, I could do whatever I wanted to, and I want that freedom, but also it made it inconsistent for my audience. Right. And so now I've started to kind of focus down a little bit more. Like, that series of watching movies has done very, very well for me, and it's something that I can do. And because sometimes I don't want to watch a superhero movie. Sometimes I want to watch something else, and so I can do that. So it's broad enough where I can do whatever, but focused enough where you kind of know what you're going to get. And then I'm still throwing in my normal videos kind of in between those episodes of that series. I know for building up that community and that fan base, I try to interact on my community tab, and I started linking my Instagram and Twitter and stuff. And I'm starting to get to that point now where it gets a little overwhelming. Because I'll just get constant message requests, and which is cool, that's what we all want, right? We want to make it and everything, which is awesome. But so it's hard for me to really give that attention that I used to be able to give when I get them every once in a while, when it's just constant. So I'm worried that there's going to be so much quantity that it'll be hard to give quality interactions, I guess. Yeah. So I try to do the live streams, and I try and be hey, join my Patreon and pay me, or you know, or I'll try to interact with comments, but I can really only hit like one comment at a time. It's hard for me to like get in threads and stuff now, but I don't hope it doesn't take anything away. You know, it probably will. It's just the nature of it, I guess, with growth.
I mean, I've noticed, I can say from just being a fan, like watching your content, I think personally your quality has gotten better and better and better. Like I remember like when you would do the Christian memes, and like from that point up until now, I'm like, this dude, and a lot of people don't know, like Holden's an actual filmmaker. Like this dude knows what he's doing when he's putting together like videos and stuff. So for me, I think with the growth that you've hit, in my opinion at least, your content has gotten a whole lot better. And you know, it's important that that you do the live streams, in my opinion, only because that gives you a chance to interact with your fan base, your community, and also putting your social media out there. And I want you guys to realize what Holden just said. You know, although it got overwhelming for him, he still put himself out there to interact with other people. And that's the thing, when you're building community, you have to put yourself out there and continue building your fan base. And Holden, I wanted from in your experience, did you ever feel like you didn't know where you were going when you were just starting out? And then do you still kind of feel that way now as you're getting bigger in this YouTube game?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So whenever I was first starting out, and I think a lot of like new channels kind of get kind of feel this way, is that they'll put all this time and all this effort and energy and like heart and soul and passion into a video that doesn't perform well. Right. So it'll get like 15 or 20 views, and it can be really disheartening. Yeah. So that's what was happening to me, because I'd be like, I would look at a bigger YouTuber and be like, I can make a video better than that, or just as good at least. So surely that video would do well, and then it doesn't. So I kind of had like this change of mindset after a while of just like kind of getting heartbroken again and again and again, of just being like, you know what, I'm just going to make videos for me. I want to make videos that I would want to see. I'm not going to worry about the views. I'm not going to worry about comments. I'm just going to make stuff. And so that's what I've done. And it helped me to be able to just like churn out content, because by the time I posted a video, I was already halfway done with like the next video, you know? And so at any given time, I have like 3 or 4 videos, like at different stages that I'm doing. So it just kind of helps me to just like keep pumping them out. And then that helps. It allowed me to be able to create content and put my heart and soul into it without feeling the rejection of nobody watching it, which nobody did for the longest time. So that's what really helped me. It's just that change of mindset. Quit trying to make it and just make videos because you love making videos.
And see, that's important right there, guys. What Holden just said is very important. A lot of people jump into YouTube or even podcasting or any other form of media trying to get views, trying to get attention. And although we are trying to get attention to some degree, if you keep putting out videos thinking that you're going to get 100,000 or like 1,000 views, I'm here to tell you that that is a sad reality. Now, there's some who get that pop every now and again, but then there's some that won't. I mean, if you look at my channel, there's some that have over 100 views. There's some that only have 10. There's some that have over 1,000. I don't, like Holden said, you have to make videos for yourself. If you like making the content that you're making, keep creating it. At the end of the day, this is an outlet for you to be creative, to express yourself. You're not necessarily there is a part where you are making it for everyone, but this is more about how you feel and what you're doing. And the one cool thing I love about Holden's channel and like other channels, it's very diverse. Holden, if you watch his videos, he's working on a Spider-Man fan film. Is there, and you don't have to get into the depths of it, but how much can you tease of that fan film that you're doing?
Yeah, I've done some behind the scenes pictures and stuff of the Patreon. So we started shooting it. We did 2 full day shoots with like the cast and everything. It's going to be about 5 days total of shooting, so we still need to shoot for 3 days. And then the quarantine happened, so we had to halt production on it pretty much. But it's really cool. Like we're in the shooting phase. Like it's already written and like costumes have been bought, and like we have like a couple of different suits for like different like battle damage moments and stuff. Just like really cool. Most of it is being funded by the patrons and some of the AdSense revenue I get from YouTube, which is really neat. Like I've never had anything like really funded before, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
since I'm editing the stuff that I already have, and I have some VFX artists that are assisting with it. So there's like obviously Spider-Man swinging through buildings and stuff. So it's been really cool getting that back and like seeing it and giving notes and sending back, and that's been really cool. But I'm hoping to have it done as soon as possible, like as soon as the quarantine is over, and then be able to finish shooting it.
Yeah. I mean, I know what that's like. I mean, funny story, you guys. I mentioned earlier last time I worked with Holden, he actually helped me produce and shoot and even edit my last Static Shock film. And I can tell you, like with me and Holden, we shot that whole thing in a week, and it was. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was accomplishing. I love the final product, but man, when you are filming something of that stature, you want to get it done as quickly as possible. And I understand from a creative side, when a quarantine hits and then you have to stay home, it's like, dang, I don't know when I'm going to go back to that, man. But I want to tell you personally, I am looking forward to that because I see your skill and you are amazing at what you do. But I did want to ask you, you are heavily involved in Pensacon, that fan base, and a lot of people from Pensacon, like a lot of friends that I know who you are by going to your panel. And I was like, what's it like building that community, not only just in your city, but at a local Comic-Con like that?
Yeah, this last year at Pensacon was pretty crazy. I wasn't there for most of it, but I did have 2 panels that I attended. One of them was like a YouTuber panel, and they had told us at the time that it was like the most packed panel. Like we had people like outside of the doors. It was one of the few times that ever had people like waiting outside and in line. Like they had like a line of people wanting to talk to me and like take pictures with me. So that was like really humbling and stuff. And people asking me questions about specific videos, and that was really cool. And then being able to answer questions that they would have and meet some people that I always would see commenting on videos was really awesome. So I loved it. I thought it was great. That was one of the best things that I've done this year.
That's amazing, man. I'm glad that you're investing your art and your time into something that is obviously giving you great blessings, man. And it's encouraging. It's very encouraging for creators like me and other creators. But I want you guys to understand something, that Holden, like me and Holden and everyone else that's somewhat made it, this took time. This didn't happen overnight. Like I remember meeting Holden where I think he has over 50,000. At one point in time, Holden had like 1,000, and he would still put out content, but it wasn't like where it is now. And now, like this dude, like I guarantee you, by the end of this year, I bet you Holden will have 100,000 subscribers, because that's how great in his content that he's doing. One real cool thing though, my last episode I talked about collaborating with celebrities. Anyone who knows who follows my channel, I interview certain celebrities like from Wild 'N Out and other actors and directors. Holden actually had the opportunity to not only meet the voice of Goku, but had an interaction with him. Now, if you've seen his previous video, I won't explain it because it's not mine, but if you've seen his previous video, he actually had a conversation with Goku, the voice of Goku. And Holden, could you expound of how that came about?
Yeah, that's one of the craziest things that's happened to me. Like YouTube has given me like a lot of opportunity, and that was one of them.
Right.
So I made, just to kind of get for context for your audience. So 2 years ago, I met Sean Schemmel, who's the voice actor for Goku. And I didn't have like a great experience with him. He was just kind of short with staff, and it was just kind of he was just kind of short with people. Anyway, so I did a video at the time when I was under 1,000 subscribers about the experience meeting him. Over time, the video did fairly well, and then 2 years later, I get a message on my Instagram from him, from Sean Schemmel, and he's like, "Hey, I saw the video where you had a bad experience with me. I'd like to call you to make things right." And I was like, sure, yeah, absolutely. And so I give him my phone number, and he called me, and we had this whole conversation. We talked for about an hour and a half. And we've since stayed in contact. Like we've been texting periodically. I've talked to him a couple more times over the phone. It's very surreal because I'm such a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, obviously, like see my stuff. Yeah. And so like I've been watching the show for so long, and now to be kind of like buddy with Goku's voice actor is it's very surreal. It's very bizarre. I'm still not like, I still don't fully have like my brain around it yet, but it's very, very cool.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. When I saw that video, I was like, man, that's not only is that humbling for me, but it was like, yo, that's actually amazing. You know, you didn't have a not so great experience, but that actor took the time to watch your video and say, you know what, let me reach out to him. He researched you and found you and was like, yo, can we have a conversation? Y'all had a conversation and resolved it. And it was like, yo, that is so humbling. And the reason why I say that's humbling, because just like Holden or me or anyone else, you guys are starting out, can do this. You guys can do this thing right now. Like it again, like I said, where we are as creators, we were not always here. We had to always build up that community. And if you know anything about Holden, I haven't seen him so much on Facebook, but more so on YouTube. In his own city, he does a lot of Pensacola things. So like there's a video on, I think on his YouTube now, called Driving in Pensacola Traffic. It's like in 2 parts. It's hilarious because he's with one of his friends. And I guess the thing about it is that he's built up a community within his own city that people in that city and even outside that city are going to watch his videos. And I wanted to ask you, Holden, when you made, because I remember when you made that video, did you think that this was the right lane for you to go when you decided to be more involved in your city in terms of bringing up Pensacola in your videos?
Yeah. Well, the Pensacola stuff, like, it was an interesting thing because, yeah, I make videos on Pensacola that are entertaining as well, you know, because I think in everybody's like hometown, there's always just like the local news people. Mm-hmm. Then here I am kind of like the local, like John Oliver to Pensacola. Like I'm just like a funny, like late night-esque type of thing where I joke about it. Yeah. So that was really cool. I never wanted to be like the Pensacola YouTuber. I even joked about that before. Yeah. Like I would do, like at the time I would do like one Pensacola video, then like 5 other videos, then another Pensacola video. Mm-hmm. And the Pensacola videos always did better. And it was really interesting because those Pensacola videos would do so well. I got really popular locally, mm-hmm. even though my channel was very small, like mm-hmm. around 1,000 subscribers at the time. Mm-hmm. And so that was really cool. Like, cause I would get recognized, like going to Target and like just mm-hmm. being like downtown and stuff. Mm-hmm. And now that I haven't made as many Pensacola videos, but my channel has grown so much, I don't get recognized as much anymore. So that's kind of a funny twist there.
Yeah. It's like, it flips. Like, I noticed when, for me, and the only time I ever got recognized back home, because if you guys don't know, I'm from Pensacola, but the only time I got recognized from home when I did my first Static Shock movie. Like a lot of the people outside of my friends who knew, because I was promoting it so heavy, knew who I was because of that. But anything else I did on my YouTube channel, they didn't watch. It's weird when you make a film, everybody watches that. But anything else, it's like, yeah. and it's weird like that. Like when you are on YouTube, people are going to recognize you for certain things. I would advise you guys not to be so discouraged by that, because now it could easily flip. Like I said, like this year at Pensacon, some of my friends back home went, and they know who Holden is, and they were like, yo, do you know who Holden is? Like, he's like an amazing YouTuber and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, like we're friends, we talk. I was like he worked on my last film, and I was just like, he was at Pensacon. He was like, yeah, he had his own panel. I was like, oh wow, like I was just oblivious, but I didn't know. I was just, but the point I'm making is like, you can get that big by working in your city. One real cool thing that I want to bring up is that Holden did he did a series, I don't know if it's still on YouTube or not, called The History of Pensacola. Can you go into detail about how did you come about that series and how you developed it?
Sure. Yeah. So I saw a picture on Facebook forever ago mm-hmm. of somebody holding up like a black and white picture, and then it like matched whatever the background was. So it was like half the picture was like in black and white that they were holding, and then the real thing in the background. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I bet that would look really cool in like a video format. Mm-hmm. So I did like a little experiment. I got some pictures of Pensacola from like over 100 years ago that I could identify like landmarks. Mm-hmm. And so I went out and I filmed them, and I just did like this kind of like a fade effect. and it looked really cool, and I was able to match it in post almost perfectly to how it looked from the original picture. And that video did well, and so I kind of did it as a series, and I got a little bit more elaborate as time went on. Like I did one about like specifically like famous murders in Pensacola, like how Ted Bundy was caught here and stuff. And I went to like where Ted Bundy was, so they got a little bit more elaborate after that. But yeah, I think I did like 6 parts to that, and they were all. I tried to keep them all different enough so it wasn't the same thing. Like I found video of Pensacola like in the 40s and 50s and was able to recreate so black and white video into modern day video. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so that was a series that always did well for me. So I really enjoyed making those.
That's actually really dope because it's funny, me developing this series was actually kind of spun off that series that you did. I remember you used to post the actual videos on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, sorry, Facebook, and then eventually YouTube. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a YouTube series, and each individual episode, I'm going to have a different guest on talking about building a community. And the cool thing, and the reason why I brought Holden on this particular episode is because I personally have watched Holden build a community where it's almost unreal. And the reason why I say it's almost unreal is because he did videos that he was interested in, and at one point he didn't care if he got, so many views, but it got to a point where it's now successful for him. And that's only because he learned how to build a community. And not only that, he had fun on his channel. And I think a lot of people have to understand that if you work within your own community, your channel will blossom. And also there's that element of consistency. Like we stated before, put out a video at least once a week. At least once a week. If you have over 100 subscribers, I've said it before, I'll say it again, put out a video once a week. Now that we're in quarantine, I'm trying to put out a video at least every day this month. There's no, I work from home. I work from home. There's no reason why I shouldn't. But that's if you have the time, do it. If you don't have the time, don't do it. But my last question I wanted to ask, if you had any tips for anyone else that's starting, right now, even though you're at the height of YouTube, do you still feel like you can get bigger, or do you feel like I guess like I had a lot of people ask me where you are now, do you feel like you could do better? And I'm like, I can always feel like I do better, but I'm content, So do you feel like content, or do you feel like you're still striving to be better?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to try and be better. I mean, I'm so like just blown away by the growth. Like when I did a live stream when I reached 3,000 subscribers, I think I was like, I think this is probably about as big as I'm going to get, And I was like, I think this is about it. And like, I don't know what the future holds for me. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be always enjoying doing these watching my movies with friends series. Like, I don't know if that's always going to bring me joy forever. And when it doesn't, I'm going to change to something else. So I think I have like the temperament and the personality. Like, if I'm not enjoying what I'm making, I will stop, even if that means I will lose as many views per video. Like, I don't care. Like, I really want it to be videos that I enjoy. And obviously, I want to lean into what people are wanting to see. But if it really became just like a chore or like another job, I would stop, absolutely. Or at least stop that type of series. As far as people that are just starting, one of the big things that I hear is what type of equipment do I need? That's usually a big one. So I always say, don't ever like break the bank trying to like, don't feel like you have to have like the best camera, the best mic, the best setup or whatever. Use what you have. Most people, like, their cell phones will suffice. Some of them shoot in 4K. You can buy like a little $20 microphone that plugs in, and or if you don't have that, just hold the phone closer to your face. Speak clearly. Practice. That's a big thing. Just practice. And when you look back, when you're consistent this much doing a video a week, when you look back in 52 weeks in a year, you'll look back and be like, man, my videos really sucked back then, So you'll naturally get better the more that you do it.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember, he brings up a really good point. I remember I used to do videos from my phone, and now I actually, from my house, I built a studio. And I want to tell everyone, and I'm sure Holden has the same way, like, that didn't come overnight. Like, I had to. Yeah. I will say you don't need to break the bank. Absolutely not. definitely use your phone for as long as you can. One of my friends that I know, he used about 100% of his content from his phone, and they're like free apps you can use to edit your video. So like there's so much you can do with that. But I have said over time you do want to evolve yourself. But you don't like you said, you don't have to break the bank. But I want to thank you so much, Holden, for being on this episode of Community of the Reality of YouTube. Where can everyone find you on social media and on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube is youtube.com/Holden Hardman. It'll take you right to my channel. And then Instagram, Holden T. Hardman. And then Twitter is HT Hardman. So those are my three main things, YouTube obviously being the biggest one. So feel free to reach out to me. I do pretty good about responding to private messages. It may take some time, but I'm usually pretty good about that. So feel free to send me a message.
Awesome. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channels where you get all the constant updates every time we're releasing videos here on our platforms. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/momentum media. But more than happy to support you guys. There's a lot of cool tiers on there if you want to support us on what we're doing here. And also follow us on multiple social medias. We're on everything, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other good stuff as well. And I'll always thank you guys for watching this video. And as always, you guys have a blessed day.